Hey guys, J.K. Whited, Baseball Rebellion. We have Willie Mays loaded up here ready to go for this article, and we're going to take a look at what made him a powerful hitter, especially for someone his size. As I said in the article, he wasn't the biggest guy. He's about 5'10", probably 5'11", depending on the year, and about 160 pounds, probably a little heavier as he got older, maybe a little less as he was younger. So we're going to take a look at what made a smaller guy a super athlete. He was a strong guy. If you take a look at pictures online, obviously he was super fit, multi-sport guy as he was growing up, and you're going to see a lot of good things. I couldn't get quite a good picture of his stance in this video here, but from the article you see the picture I could get from another swing. I want to use this swing because I thought this was one of his best hits out of the swing, and one of the balls that he did in fact hit over the fence in this home run derby. I think this was actually between him and Mickey Mantle. So a good version or a good side view here is what we're going to use, and his feet start a little bit closer, so in his stance his front foot's probably right about there. Alright, but we can tell right off the bat, and we're going to see this again later, but you're going to see how he really gets moving forward. And this is something that we tell our guys all the time, big or small, and the bigger guys don't have to move as much, but he wasn't the biggest guy, but he was really able to utilize all of his athleticism and moving. So you can see this back leg angle here all the way up to his back hip, to his front knee, and this is something we talk about all the time with our guys, getting into this position here, especially with that front knee bend, and getting used to going to the front side a little bit more aggressively than maybe most of our younger kids are taught today. And this is really exciting to see because these guys really had one goal in mind, and that was really how hard can I hit this ball, and we're going to see some things that are really good come from that. And especially if you talk to little guys that are maybe younger in youth leagues that have had no instruction, that just want to do that, you're going to see a lot of this stuff come out of their swings, and it's just from being athletic, moving well, and being aggressive. And you can see this position here is really good. He's got his belly button is open, yet at the same time his shoulders and everything's kind of in on the upper half, so he's got a nice stretch. He's able to really utilize his move forward, and then with his hip pull. So as he starts to turn his hip, and he's already started to do this right here. So from this point to this point, okay, you can see how the barrel moves from behind him. All right, and what's happening is he's really starting to really go from that back hip. And what happens is when he starts to pull from that back hip, the barrel will start to go down, okay, and it's basically pulling everything from the middle out, okay. So not only did his barrel start to go downward behind him, but his back knee starts to move at the same time, okay. So everything's being pulled. Okay, a couple of things that I don't like. I don't like how his head moves from there to there. Okay, and that's some things that you're going to find from these older generation of guys. Sometimes they weren't the best from the chest up and the best examples. Sometimes they did fine. Sometimes they did a pretty good job, but they were kind of up there hacking away a little bit more, I guess. And I think from the the growth of the sport and more pitchers throwing more breaking balls and things like that, the hitters of today are a little bit better from the chest up. But sometimes these guys did a great job too. I just think right here, there's a little bit of too much head movement when he was making that transition from his barrel up to starting his barrel move behind him. But for the most part, this is a really good position. Okay, now continuing from here, all right, we're going to see more of a hip pull, and at the same time, we're of course seeing that back foot come off the ground. At the same time, we're seeing that front leg straighten out. So before he gets to contact, you can start to see again more hip rotation. The barrel's now more behind him, and you're starting to see more back foot, more back knee, and then that front leg is going to start to drop back at the same time, trying to keep his head in one spot. Now, he keeps his head in one spot, and it's something he does a little bit better than Hank Aaron, in my opinion, but he does raise up some. So you see his head height go from right where it is just about here when he starts his turn, and as he turns more, you can see how he gets taller. Okay, so from that, we're going to say he's probably pushing a little bit too much up on his toe and not doing a great job of dropping that front hip back. But at the same time, it's a BP throw. This is a home run derby. The pitcher's not trying to get him out, and it's pretty much a practice toss from a coach. So he can get away with some of these things maybe that he couldn't in a game. But you can see how just awesome he's using his leverage and using his what length he has to get down the box, put himself in this torqued up position, all right, and really utilize his middle. Okay, he's really stretching from his middle, okay, really utilizing this part of his body, and then when he does that and starts to begin to pull that back hip, All right, we're seeing that back foot come off. Again, these are positions that we talk about a lot with our guys online, our guys in person. Okay, foot off the ground, back leg bent. Okay, you can see the super straight front leg, which is phenomenal. And he's a little tall on his chest. Again, something he does a little bit better than Hank Aaron, but this is still a little bit up and down for us. We like to see a little bit more of a lean back, but all things considering, he pounds this ball. He's way out in front, obviously. You can see how his arms are super extended. You can just see his timing here on this pitch. Maybe he was a little bit early. You know, these guys make mistakes too all the time, but you can see how he's still, even though he's early, even though he's way out in front, his lower half still does the job. He gets max rotation. Okay, so at contact, we can see the entire side of his body. A lot of guys at this frame are going to be kind of half turn with their arms out. Not these guys. These guys are trying to smash the ball every pitch. So we can see the whole side of his body here at contact. You know, we don't like the extended arms here. Obviously, you know, from if you're followers of us, we want to see more of a bent arm position here, which would allow Willie to let the ball get a lot closer. So we would like to see contact made, you know, somewhere probably right off his, you know, depending on where this pitch is. If it is right down the middle, probably right outside of his front foot. But all things considering, you know, he still smashes his ball. And he raises up a little bit too because probably the pitch is a little high. And as he finishes his turn, okay, continues one-hand release, which we love, puts his foot down. You can see that iconic number 24 on his jersey right there. Really good stuff. So, again, you know, these guys make mistakes all the time. You know, I like how he starts with his hands low. You don't see that often these days. And as he goes forward, they come up into that position right underneath the armpit, which puts himself in a good position to start turning the barrel from behind him and then come in from behind the ball. This is something you see a lot really well these days, where you see the barrel coming in from behind the path of the pitch. And as he comes up, you know, he hits it off the end of the bat, but this bat ball still goes out, again, because his lower half is so explosive and he's moving the same way. He did this almost every swing I saw. So really good stuff from Willie Mays. There's no question he's one of the best hitters of all time with his speed and his strength and his swing. And not to mention his defensive prowess. He's going to be remembered for all time as one of the greats, and we should definitely look to him and notice these positions and say, you know what, this can work for me too. I just got to practice it. I got to learn about it and put it into play. And really excited to look at Hank Aaron now, and we'll continue to roll.